that song called? Don't piss on my leg, player. Ah! I don't want to do no show today. I don't want to do no show today. I don't want to do no show today. Don't make me. Top 5 answers on the board, player. Top 5 answers on the board. Ah! Hey, what's up? What's up? Little Steve Harvey hardcore. What if Steve Harvey had a hardcore band?
I mean, it would be perfectly just like you did it there. Of course, he has to throw in a few Family Feud references just to make sure everybody gets it.
Let's play the feud.
I'm watching Family Feud and I'm like, the questions are all horny and they're all lazy. They're all like, if you had to cheat on your husband, what part of Steve Harvey's body would you suck off?
It's always been a cheeky show from the beginning because Richard Dawson would kiss every contestant on the lips.
No, you know, Steve Harvey's excellent at that job. He's superb.
Yes, sure.
Yes. And he does like fucking 5 shows a day, so, you know.
Yeah.
Damn, that's got to be rough.
Yeah.
He's the king of the slow burn when someone says something done. He loves to slow burn their ass.
He does that in his hardcore band too. Like they'll just play and he just stare at the crowd for like 3 minutes. What kind of music is this? This music crazy. Look at the music.
He's got
that ain't music.
This ain't music.
Cold astonishment.
The hell kind of music is this?
That's the music Russians play when they're torturing people.
1, 2, 3, 4. The hell they play? What the hell is going on? Now I'm about to crowd surf. Y'all better not drop me. Here I come. Ah!
Are you showing the picture? No.
I'm about to crowd surf.
Did you make that, Jerry?
No, I just found it. I found a meme for some. I don't even know where I found this at.
People's minds are fucking bonkers. Everybody's just like, I'm going to spend the afternoon making this. I'll take 2 hours out of my day to make this little piece of art. Like, it's all over
AI.
the place.
It's AI, so it probably took 5 seconds. Whoever made that was like,
oh yeah, that's right.
That.
Forget about old AI.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of AI, did you guys hear that James Earl Jones' family sold his voice to, I think, to Disney or somebody, or something, so they can
do more Darth Vaders.
Yeah, but anyone can buy. So you can have you can do a movie and then just have him narrate it if you just pay them. If you pay the family enough money.
Right, he was the original voice of CNN. You remember him going, "This is CNN." I can't obviously resonate as deep as him, but so now anyone can have that. So if Roto-Rooter wants to get it, they can get Earl Jones.
You can have you can have Darth Vader do anything for your product, like breathing, everything. It's like that's his breath. It's for sale. I'm sure at some point Disney's going to be like, enough's enough. We own it forever. They're just going to buy it.
I would think so. And he has got such a distinctive voice. I mean, the thing is about if you hear his voice doing something, you know he's dead, so he's not doing it. There's no mistaking that,
I forgot he died.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I liked him in Conan the Barbarian.
I know you told me you
the
like that.
wig, the straight wig. That was
Yeah.
I love that wig.
Right.
That
He
wig
had,
he had.
he had the super mullet and
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
rich hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tree of Woe.
straight,
When he
straight
sends
hair.
Conan, take him to the Tree of Woe.
Tree of Woe.
Uh,
I'm about to surf on this crowd, player. Y'all better not
And
drop
then-
me.
then Conan 2, they got Wilt Chamberlain in there.
Wilt Chamberlain was in
believe.
Conan too. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's like, okay, him and Grace Jones. So like, all right, they're going for the model and the basketball player now.
Grace Jones.
It was very forward. It was very forward casting.
Pretty, yeah, for back then. Well, you know what? It was it John, or was that the second Conan or the first Conan? Because the first one was
Second.
I think it-
Okay, because the first one was John
I wanna
Milius,
see-
who was a nut. Would have been
Oh,
like
he directed that? Yeah, he
John
wrote
Milius.
Apocalypse Now.
he did the first. He directed the first one. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
Dino De Laurentiis produced it. I feel like it was a De
Conan?
Laurentiis production somehow. Yeah.
Dino
I
had
always
his
thought it
fingers
was
in many
weird.
pies.
Yeah. Conan had two main. James Earl Jones had two main sidekicks in the first Conan movie, and one of them I thought oddly looked exactly like Tim Conway. He was just super buff.
His
Face. He had Tim Conway's face on a big wrestler body, and his weapon was a big giant hammer instead of a sword. He had an oversized hammer. Which I thought only punctuated his the comical nature of his Tim Conway countenance.
I've never seen that movie, guys.
Oh,
Which
it's
one?
a wonderful waste of talk about it.
Conan-
It wastes 2 hours.
I've never
Conan the
I've never seen it
Barbarian.
either. Yeah, I've never seen it
Oh,
either.
yeah.
I was just I just found a picture of him. Let's see if I can get this.
It's
should've-
good cheese.
Conan should have named his show Conan O'Brien the Barbarian.
Yeah, he'd never heard that before, Raj.
But I'm saying it's so on the nose and probably he's heard it 1,000 times that it would be
Of course.
fun for a show title.
It's all Conan's heard his whole life.
Because now he's doing a show called, like, I'm getting out of here, and he just goes to different places and does the bits. Like he used to on his show.
I thought he was just podcasting it up. Is he still doing the travel stuff?
Yeah.
Making
I don't know what
Sweeney go
channel
all
it's
over
on,
the-
but yeah.
Making poor Mike Sweeney fucking travel all over the world.
Conan.
Yep.
Yep.
I think they're having a good time doing that show.
You know it. But it is high pressure. Very high pressure. But I think Sweeney loves it. He came from a very chaotic household. And I think he likes that chaos, the controlled chaos.
Oh, really?
We'll talk
Yeah.
about his chaotic household.
No, I don't want to. People can let Sweeney tell that story himself. I'm just leaving it at that. It was chaotic.
But his parents were both alcoholics. They used to throw him around. I made that up.
I think his mother had some undiagnosed stuff going on. Anyway.
All comics come from disturbing childhoods.
That's what Mark Maron is for. Maron is there to uncover everyone's horrible childhoods. That's his favorite thing.
He set me on my whole journey of like finding out my how I grew up. It really did. Like I was talking to him and he was like, "You're Jehovah's Witness. What was that like?" And I was like, "Oh, it was fine." And I was like, "Wait a minute, was it?"
Wow.
So that conversation got you into like trying to find
Yeah. Yep.
all the reasons.
Yeah, because I
You know,
listened to it and I was just like, that's funny. Because I was saying some stuff that I was like, I didn't even know what I thought that. I hadn't even really thought about that. It had been years and I hadn't really even thought like, is this stuff true that they were saying? Or there was some stuff that I hadn't even really, questioned, It's just, I was like, I just left it years ago. It was all
The way
stupid.
you thought about it was like, that's just my past and fuck it,
Yeah. It's like they all like, just all stupid and yeah. just get over it. And I was just like, wait a minute, I haven't talked to my mother in 10 years. I should really like think about this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I had similar
Most
good
men try to.
well, I didn't have anything like that with Mark Maron, but we did. I did his show once and twice. I did like one where he had a panel in Brooklyn. Always very nice. Always loved that guy.
I did a he wanted me to do, I was gonna do bits on his show, like just come on and like be a comic, and the first bit I did was so offensive. He was just like, don't come back, man.
Didn't use it.
What was the bit? Now I got to hear it.
It was when like all those dispensaries were open up in LA. And so
Yeah.
I was just like this guy that he's like I came on as like a guy who wanted to do a commercial for his dispensary, but it was obviously I was advertising to kids. But I was doing it with a Hispanic accent, so he was just like trying to give me a chance. He's like, "Come on, guy, I just went to a dispensary like that where I went in and like it was a dude like sleeping sleeping behind a counter. It was like all kinds of dudes, like all gang members just like hanging out and like, come on in, man, come on in, fucking, you know, and the weed was like in napkins and shit. Like it wasn't even in jars. I'm like, you guys just got a fucking storefront and like just got some weed. So I was doing it like that, you know, I was acting like I was those guys, and he was like, stopped recording. He's like, you sure you want to do it that way, like with that voice? I was like, yeah, man. Right. Yes, this is it. This is the guy I saw yesterday.
No one can do accents anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was a long time ago, but he was like, nah, he wasn't having that.
I thought you did the. Well, never mind.
You want another offensive thing?
Well, the guy getting dragged by the guy.
Guy getting dragged. Yeah, that wouldn't. No, that I guess that wouldn't have played.
That's pretty rough, but yeah. It's kind of my fault too. But
Mark Maron is always happiest when he maneuvers his guest onto the psychiatrist's couch. I feel like most men are trying to maneuver women into bed. Mark Maron tries to maneuver people onto the couch, the psychiatrist couch.
Yeah.
I think his real calling was to be a therapist. He missed his calling and became a comic instead. So he became a therapist of comedians on the air.
I mean, well, a lot of it was him working out his own therapy. I mean, that's a lot of his stage stuff too. So, you know,
I think that's his act.
Yeah.
But you know, really, he really set the bar for podcasts, and he came right at the right time. I think it was COVID time, a little bit after he started and really got his momentum. And so everybody had plenty of time.
Yeah, well, he was one of the first ones.
Rogan got big during COVID.
They all did. All those comedians too, because they were all doing gigs when nobody else would travel. So they had 2 years of just like getting sick and going out on the road, and people just like, these are the only comedians that are out there, and you know, and people were starving for entertainment.
Yeah.
You know?
Why? Because they didn't believe in it. They didn't believe in COVID. Yeah. They're just like, I don't care. Or I don't care.
They were also like, like trashy road comics who were like, I'm not stopping my career. I'm going to find people who want to go out. You know, a lot of those people became anti-vax, you know, MAGA people when that happened, so that they could go and perform. That's the reason that they became that. They went to that side. Yeah.
Part of being MAGA is being an opportunist, even if it's not good for your community. And, you know, fuck it. Just take when you got enough. If everybody else is staying home, fuck them. I'll go out and take.
Well, it's obvious, like
those
trash ass road comics were. I mean, what? They don't give a shit about anything about getting people sick. You know, they'll go out. Those people have to they'll go and do their show on a broken leg. They have to. They got to work. Like, if you break your leg, what the fuck you going to do if you're a road comic? You know, you don't get money. You don't have insurance. You don't have, you know, it's not like a job where you. So that's the risk they take for being bums. You don't want to wake up in the morning. You don't want to fill out a W-2. Huh?
Hobos waking up every day in a different city, a different town. Hobos. From Hoboken, wherever it comes from, Hoboken.
They are hobos. That's where you get the hobo clown.
The
Clown.
archetype of the hobo clown. Yeah.
Yeah. Clown that nobody wants. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of my town. Oh, you want some laughs? All right. I guess I can put up with some laughs for a minute, you fucking clown. Now get out of here. You wanna build this fence? You wanna paint? No, I want a clown.
Get the fuck out of town.
Enough. Okay,
No,
next town.
I'm a vaudevillian, sir. I don't paint fences.
Yeah, it was back in the day where you got tarred and feathered if you didn't like your act.
No. No, they wouldn't tar and feather you. They might throw stuff at you, though.
Beat you with a wrench. Not funny.
Well,
Clank.
Most clowns were, everybody on the circus is kind of alcoholics, right?
Right,
At least.
Right. Yeah.
Not,
And
not
when you see
necessarily.
clowns close up, it's hideous,
No, not your classic.
At least when I was a kid. When I was a kid, clowns were still weird alcoholics.
They were, yeah.
They were,
Yeah.
like burned out
you're
alcoholics.
talking clowns. I thought you meant
The Shrine Circus, those clowns were bums. Those clowns were alcoholic bums, man. You could smell the booze coming off of them. The fucking makeup would be running off because there's so much booze in their skin, in the bloodstream.
Yeah, it was like Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweaty clowns, alcoholic clowns, smelly. Like, you can't wash that fucking shit that often. So, that clothes it's just a mess. So, yeah, when I was a kid, my aunt took me to the circus and I saw a clown and I started screaming. And I screamed until she finally left the circus. I was 5, I think.
You had the Shrine Circus in Chicago, right?
This is in Chile, though.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's probably even weirder. South American circus.
Yeah, imagine everything is like 5 years weirder in South America. It takes 5 years, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's weird. We don't like clowns either now. But there was a beautiful period when everybody loved clowns. Still, everyone loved clowns. Like, can you imagine that? Like, people would go to like the circus like 2 times a year sometimes. Like, what a mess. Abused animals and alcoholic bums. And acrobats. I think the acrobats are the only ones who are kind of trying to keep it together.
And they got to show up to work sober.
They had to walk a line and all that shit. Yeah, high wire. So they had to be a little more straight than the clowns. The clowns were just like,
And it's the circus. They're all fucking each other. They're all on the road.
Yeah,
man on man, men on women's on women's. They don't care.
Well,
men on men's, women on women's. They don't care in the circus. It's just all.
And then the bums sleep with like the ladies who like the guys who have tits and stuff. The hermaphrodite.
The bearded ladies.
Yeah, bearded
lady. They don't care.
Sounds like, I love Brenda, and nothing's gonna keep us apart. Delaney, what happened? You got lost there.
I'm listening. They don't have freak shows anymore.
I went to one. Went to Carnival and they had a freak show. It was so funny. They had this world's smallest man.
That's not a complaint.
No.
I don't think they should per se.
I don't think people would even understand what that's like. I went to one. It was just like, it was a carnival, like one of those, like a really cheap roving carnival that like went out in the woods or went out and found an open field and set their carnival up.
Yeah.
And they had a freak show and they had the world's smallest man, and it was just a dude sitting there with his wife, a little person. His wife was sitting next to his wife. But you're supposed to ask those questions like, "Oh, you're married to a normal person?" Like, yeah, I am.
You know what, awful. Jerry? I'm having a flashback. I think I was brought to a freak show when I was a little kid. I'm remembering it, and that's it. You would just go into an awkward room. And
Now,
there's
you
some
sure this
unusual
wasn't?
people,
You sure
but
you're not
they're
remembering
just.
a song by the bar?
It
You were
could
on the
be a
dance
song.
floor. You were on the
You know,
dance
it could be
floor.
a. It's possible it's something I saw when I was a kid about freak shows. You know, but I feel like they were still around. I feel like there was one on Cape Cod back in the '60s,
Oh,
and
sure.
that they brought us into.
What was, you know? Did you go to Cape Cod a lot?
Yeah, we spent summers there when I grew up in Massachusetts.
So there's a music. You remember that music venue that was there? It was like kind of like an amphitheater outside.
There's a couple of them, but yeah, I think there is one main one. I was a child, so I didn't go to a lot of concerts.
Same here, but yeah. Anyway,
I
Uh,
love the Cape.
what
Norm
part of Cape Cod?
McDonald.
Isn't Cape Cod like a big place? Isn't it like a bunch of little towns together?
It
It's
is
not big.
big, you know. We
I don't
always
think it's big. I mean, you can get around in like an hour.
no.
No,
When you're at the Bourne Bridge, it takes more than an hour to get to Provincetown. It takes a long
all the way
time.
to
Now,
P
some
Town,
of that,
really?
yeah, uh, it takes longer than you think it's going to. Just to go to Wellfleet is like a long drive from Falmouth.
From
Um,
Wellesley? Is that still considered Cape
Well,
Cod? Oh,
Wellfleet.
Wellfleet. Okay,
Wellesley is in the Newton area. Um,
got it. Okay, that's still considered Cape Cod too.
Come again?
Oh, are you saying to go from there? But that's not the Cape Cod area though. Wellfleet.
No, but to get up to P Town,
Yeah,
it's there's traffic and it's far and it's a
and they got
hook and it's
those
just
those rotaries.
we got plenty of rotaries on Cape Cod. They really embraced the rotary. Um,
Yeah.
we've always had rotaries. Uh, that's a funky place, but no, it feels like there's a lot of space when you're there. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's more crowded now, but it hasn't got out of control. At least not from my perspective. It has changed a hell of a lot though since the '70s.
It's
Changed
funny.
a
My
huge
one of
amount.
my best friends I grew up with lives out there. He moved out there when I was when we were still kids. We were in middle school, and he's been watching us. He's probably not watching today, but he's always like, "I'm gonna join. I'm gonna talk to you guys." But it's funny we're talking about Cape Cod. Uh, he paints houses out there. Very well known
Ooh,
house painter in the
what a
Cape.
fun job! I wouldn't mind being a house painter on Cape Cod. That's a place you want to
Yeah,
go to die.
I went out there one summer and worked with his mom a little bit.
I'm sorry, whose mom?
I was telling him about a friend of mine who watches us. Who was watching us. He lives in Cape Cod right now.
Oh, okay.
He said he's gonna. So I was thinking about joining you guys. I can't do it. I can't do that accent. It's funny. He grew up in Michigan, mostly, and his mother had a really heavy Massachusetts accent, and he didn't have it. But now he's got it back, like crazy accent.
If you
Does
hang
your
out with
mom
people
have
long
that,
enough,
Delaney?
no, my father didn't have one, and then he got one when he got married to a woman who had one. And then my dad's Boston accent came back strong when he married Martha. But his parents had heavy Boston accents. Michael, how are you? You're turning four today. Four is a two-syllable word.
Bow wow.
Um,
Martha's Vineyard is beautiful, just beautiful.
yeah, the
I
vineyard's fucked. It's Nantucket's the place now.
Oh
The
really?
vineyard's got overrun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the vineyard is full of ticks, and Lyme disease runs rampant up there. It's really a drag. It's the fly in the ointment of the whole Northeast, really. Westchester and Cape Cod have the same problem.
I
You
know.
just can't go rambling through the weeds. Now, when we went rambling through the weeds, which we did a lot when I was a child, we always got ticks. Ticks was
Yeah, but it
just
didn't make
part
you
of it.
sick like they do now.
But
But
then
it's still that way. I
destroy
mean,
your
I was in
brain.
Michigan. I just laid on the grass for a minute to take a picture and got up and then had 3 ticks. Like I'm
Oy.
still finding ticks on my way home. Jesus.
You guys got to stay out of the woods, man. I know you like killing, but you got to stay out of the woods.
You like killing?
No, I will not. I will not stay
Yeah,
out
but
of the woods. I go as often as I can. Raj, what do you have for vacation when you were a kid? Where did you go?
Well,
What was
we
the city?
drove to Chile from Chicago when in the same year that the clown thing happened.
You drove to Chile?
Yeah, we drove my whole family and we drove,
Good
and then we
God.
got stopped at the Mexican border, and they're like, you can't come in because Mexico and Chile are having uh, some kind of thing where they weren't respecting each other's existence or something. I don't know. So my dad had to go sell the car and then fly from. So we all flew from Texas, I guess,
Wow.
to Chile to
That
finish our
was
trip.
that was the solution? Sell the car? That's a
Yeah,
badass move for dad. Like,
yeah.
look,
Well,
then
I mean, I don't
sell
know
it.
what. Maybe he shipped.
What am I
Maybe he
gonna not
shipped the
go?
car to Chile, but I don't remember that. I remember that they wouldn't let us in, so we all had to fly.
This has turned into an ad. See how Raj produced that piece of a cup of coffee right there?
Yeah,
This is going to turn into an ad for Colombian coffee. I mean, Chilean coffee. I know it. So
yeah.
let's just cut to the chase here, Raj.
And it wasn't until that evening until I started seeing the beautiful mountain ranges of Chile, white
And the
tops,
beans, the smell of the beans. I've read the copy.
the beloved white tops. You can tell that the incoming winter is on its way. And I like to have a good cup of hot coffee whenever I'm in Chile. Yeah, I got a new brand of coffee coming out, Chile Coffee.
That's it. That's the title. I thought the whole thing it was from Chile, but you just went with that
I'm
title.
keeping it simple. Keeping it simple.
Chile, because
Chile.
everyone thinks of Colombian coffee. You don't think of Chilean coffee. Is it
I
spicy?
know, and that's bullshit. You know, uh, we have very similar climates. I'm sure Chile can grow beans, right?
Right? I would think so. I mean, maybe it's a little too cold
The
there.
finest
Chile
beans.
does the fruit. Chile does fruit, and you can still like if you go to Vons and if you go to I'm sure any
Sure.
regulars, you have Chilean grapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got Chilean
Yep.
grapes myself. Thank you, everybody.
All right. See you next week. Signing his paycheck and going.
I used to do this bit and read through at SNL, like during the down, like before we would start, they had fruit and snacks and stuff on the table, like little finger foods, right,
For Lauren, yeah.
Jerry? In the read through,
That was Lauren.
can you
Lauren's
pass
favorite
me
thing.
the
Eating that.
carrots?
You ate some melon.
Is that it? He ate melon?
Yeah, he's sitting there
No,
eating that fruit. Yeah.
he ate some carrots.
Some
I
celery,
like a
maybe.
rabbit.
I'm the same thing. I eat fruit all day. You know who does that too? Is Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks eats massive amounts of fruit.
Can you get me some plant leaves? Thank
You
you.
see him in those documentaries. He's always
Thank you,
eating
Lorraine.
fruit. Look, he'll have a big thing of melon near him.
There was
So
always
Yeah.
melon. I got
What
really
is?
tired of melon because they weren't that great either. They were always like, it's New York, so it took time for things to get to you and stuff.
No. It's got to be in season. It's got to be.
But yeah, Chile does a lot of fruits. And is it fruit? Or now I see people writing fruits. Like, what are they both correct now?
They're both correct.
Yeah.
Like, I went and bought some fruits last night. Sounds like I'm like retarded. No, sorry, not retarded, but
How dare you?
Hey,
Oh
y'all,
yeah.
I got some fruit. What? I got some fruits at the store.
How
Yep.
dare you?
Fruits. I got
That
my
reminds
fruits
me of
and
my new character,
vegetables.
the mentally challenged pimp. You better get out there and get my money, bitch. Get my money. I
No.
already had your money. Oh, did you? Then go home and get some rest. And when you're done getting that rest, bitch, you better go out there and get my money. I already gave you your money. Oh, did you, bitch? Is the money in my pocket? Yeah, it's in your pocket. Well, thank you then. And you left me. I don't smack that ass and get you back out on the streets. Now you wait here, and I'm gonna go suck some dick. And when I come back, I'm gonna give you all the money. Okay. Yeah, that's right, bitch. Oh, mean and shit. Yeah, you're gonna get it. And after I suck these dicks, I'm gonna give you all the money. Okay. Okay, pimp.
Wait, he's sucking dicks too?
That's right. That's right, bitch.
Okay. How much money do you get from the women?
I get zero. I get
What?
zero money. Yes, that's right, bitch. And
they-
you work for me.
Doesn't make any sense, man.
Because I'm your pimp. And I suck dicks.
Good for you, man. I can't judge that, but
Well, I'm your whore, so I guess I gotta take that money from you. That's right, bitch. You gotta take this money.
yeah,
all of it.
there was a time I was a prostitute before I got to LA. I was a prostitute in Detroit, and I had a retarded pimp. I guess you'd call it mentally challenged pimp at the time. And it was great to work for him because you couldn't count the money. You know, you give him like $1, and he'd be like, "That's right, bitch." But you ended up making most of the money, so he was great. And then he was constantly sucking other guys' dicks, which was weird. Like he wouldn't admit he was gay either, or at least bi. You know, well, he never touched us because he was afraid of us. I watch a lot of those stories, like those people, like you know those videos of the guy that interviews like people from the street, and it's always like some whacked out.
I'm so addicted to that. I'm so
What's
addicted
it
That was
called?
an ASCAT. That was an
The,
ASCAT 2001 scene.
Yep.
Under soft white underbelly.
Yeah, soft white underbelly. They always have
Yeah.
these, and the people just tell the most insane stories.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're in the throes of the shit, so it's like
Wait, is that a
they're
thing?
in it. You know, it's not
Is
like
that a
Yeah.
I got better.
show?
Yeah, it's a channel. This guy used to be on YouTube. I think he's on his own thing now, but it's called Soft White Underbelly. He lives in downtown LA, and he would just get street people. I mean, just any kind of person that was like in a crisis, and they just talk. You know, like pimps, prostitutes, drug addicts. But he's had every kind of person on there. You
Yeah,
know.
I think he pays them like $250, and it's like, do you mind, coming in here for a couple hours and answering some questions? And
And lying.
most people are fucked up, and they're like $250. Yeah,
Well, they're paid handsomely.
yeah.
This one woman, she was a prostitute, and she was just like talking about how good life was good. The life was good, and like cuts on her arm, like fucking defensive wounds all over you. What the fuck are you talking about? Ain't nothing wrong with that life. I tell women all the time, come on in the life. It's good.
You gotta adjust. You know what I mean? You gotta pivot at some point.
Get the fuck out of
Just a
here.
pivot.
Life was really good back then. I got syphilis, and I got my head beat in.
Yeah, I know. Got these
But they're messed up still. So it's not, like I said, it's not like they're not great stories usually about people recovering, really, right? It's people in the crisis kind.
Yeah. It's every once in a while he might have somebody on there that's like, oh
And they'll
yeah,
have cops.
I got the
cops will be
streets.
pretty normal, right? They'll be normal talking about horrible things.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, Delaney. Anyway, enough commercialism for that, but that's kind of what that bit reminded me of.
Yeah.
He
I
did one.
I remember hearing that name. Yeah.
He did one. This inbred family in West Virginia. That is harrowing. They can't even talk.
Does he go to the house?
He goes to their house. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
There's so much incest that the son can't even speak, Delaney.
Can't even speak. Yeah.
It's like, that's Luther, and he's like, and it's just everybody is just one degree of insane and fucked up. Because where are they? The Appalachians or something?
Yeah, they're in Appalachia. Yeah, and there's been people who've been like, "Hey, stop going there. Leave those people alone." You know.
Right.
You think it's exploitation?
and
It is a bit.
Well, and
It's
here's
all,
the weird thing.
it's all, honestly, it's exploitation.
It's all exploitation.
Of it.
It
It's
is.
all,
yeah. The thing with that family, They're all like on, even though they're all like fucked up and inbred, they're all on drugs. They're all still like, they still can go get those pills.
Everyone still
Well,
wants to get high.
it's like mine, man.
Let me go get some water. What?
Yeah, get some water, man. Yeah, they're like mice. They still like to get high. You know, you give me something to get high, I'm gonna get high.
I know it makes me feel good. I don't have to be sophisticated to. I need a fucking degree to know to know that crack makes me feel good.
Yeah. So is it normal? Also, like, is it okay? Is it? I guess it's okay for retarded people to get drunk. Like
Yeah.
in their treatment or their care. I don't know if that's recommended. I don't know, but maybe it's like, who cares, right?
Yeah, it seems like that would be a disaster.
Yeah, you've seen videos of where it's a disaster
Yeah.
on the machine, on the beautiful machine. There's all sorts of videos, but yeah, I don't know. Is it funny because it's fine, or is it funny because it's just people being mean? I don't know. Delaney.
All I know is I gotta get my pimp's money. Is I gotta get my pimp. I gotta get back to my pimp so I can get my money. What?
What a terrible line of work these people are into. You know, make sure we got to tell people that this isn't a good career option. Never works out.
But now sex workers in this day and age can work from home in the safety of their own home, and people can get weird. They can do it remotely.
Oh, you mean like OnlyFans and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, those people are like wrestlers. You know, there's like, they end up dying the same way, just really young, exploited. I always found a correlation between porn. I think porn and wrestling is very similar business. Just
Yeah, it seems like that, right?
Just using physical bodies, eating them up, running them through a mill, meat grinder. And in the end, they're like, oh, no, I was on drugs all day I was on drugs 365 days a year to help with the pain I was having, What do you think, Delaney? That's a very interesting topic.
I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but I have watched a couple wrestling documentaries. It's pretty fascinating about those guys' lifestyle, and
of course, it's so great.
They used to be very hardcore. I guess they probably still are.
Oh my
God!
Hard living,
right?
Hard living, and tough life. Travel, and that's not to mention the travel. What do you think? You think the symphony orchestra who travels? You think they have the same problems? All the addiction
as wrestlers?
No, yeah.
Yeah, I think they do on maybe a smaller level. Like, instead of being Andre the Giant drinking 8 cases of wine or whatever the fuck, it's always like Andre the Giant. They put every now and then you see a video of people talking about Andre the Giant. It's like, he had 165 beers, and I was right there and I saw it. He emptied out the whole place. We had to go to another bar and just take out we emptied out the whole place. It's like Bill Brasky. He's like Bill Brasky,
You met Iron Sheik, right?
Oh, I did. I delivered weed to Iron Sheik. I gave him as a friendly gesture, and he loved it.
You delivered his marijuana. You give him his marijuana.
He goes, "Oh my God, you bring me my medicine. Thank you. My medicine is beautiful." Yeah, and we had a beer, and then he was just smoking away in the hotel room. It was really fantastic.
That's amazing.
Because they were doing a documentary. I knew the guys that were making a documentary for him, so they were like, "Yeah, can you bring weed? We'll pay you." And whatever. I was like, "No, I'm gonna go meet the Iron Sheik. I don't need to. It's not
I don't need this.
It's my privilege to bring weed that's gonna be smoked by
Definitely.
whatever his name is."
I love those old dudes. I remember Paul F. Tompkins told me he met who was it? Ernie not Ernie Hudson. Was it Ernie Hudson? He was gonna meet it was some other old actor was like, hey man, you want to go over to Ernie Hudson's house? He's like, yeah, you gotta bring some weed.
Yeah.
Ernie loves his weed.
I heard that Ernie struggles with his lines. I heard he struggles with memorization. That would.
Yeah, he's probably fried, you know.
He actually took Horatio was in a pilot with me, and Horatio unceremoniously got let go, and Ernie Hudson took his place, and proceeded to not mow a line. So we had to there was no replacing at that. It was the last day. I think Horatio had already shot. It was kind of ridiculous for them to replace him at that point. But it was like the lines they were giving him. He was playing somebody 20 years older than him, and he was talking about his retirement. And it was just ridiculous seeing Horatio say those lines. He was like, "Oh, my retirement, my grandkids." And we're like, Jesus Christ, this is.
Is that what it was, Raj? Were you too young? Is that
they hired this other guy who's famous. He's super funny. And we're both the same type.
Yeah.
And he's got great lines, and I just got these, these whatever lines, and they're just like, we can't have. I think they made a mistake and hired us both.
Yeah. And
then they're like, uh-oh, we got two fucking Louis De Palmas here, and I think that's what. And then it didn't work. Yeah, you're right. It didn't work for me. It wasn't working for me, so I was happy to be let go of that, in a sense.
Well, you still got paid too. That's what.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And
that's part of the whole life, Delaney. You get fired once in a while.
Well, pilot was never going to go anywhere.
No, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice idea, but it wasn't going to work.
No, we all get the heave ho.
Oh, I got the heave ho one time. It was like before the day ended. They were like, "We don't need you anymore."
Wait, you shot already? And they're like, "Yeah."
Yep.
So
by the end of that day, like half of the day, like, "Yeah, you can go ahead and go home." And I was like, "Oh, we're ending early." And then I got home. They were like, "Yeah, what happened? They're gonna recast it." And I was just like, "Oh, I didn't think they hated it that much."
Last night I heard a story by Jesse Ventura, and I'll make it really short. It correlates. It makes sense to this in this conversation. He says that when he got let go from baseball, he was in the White Sox, his final team. He was like, he played, journeyman.
Robin Ventura, then.
No, the wrestler.
Oh, okay.
The wrestler, okay. Yeah. The wrestler's like, yeah, I used to play. I'm not going to do him because I don't do him well, but he's like, yeah, I used to want to be an athlete. I was a really great athlete, but I just wasn't good enough, And then one day I didn't know I was let go, and the guy comes in and he's like, "You can't be in here. This fans can't be inside the locker room." Like that's how he fired him. Like that's how he found out that he was fired. It's like, who is that fucking asshole that did that? And then, he's like, thank God you fired me because I ended up being fucking, I ended up finding wrestling and I was like the number one. I was the best wrestler ever.
That's still a fan, but I work here. Not anymore, man.
And to say, hey, you're not allowed here. Just say I'm fired. Don't
I'm fired, make a whole joke out of it. Hey, what do you call it when you don't come to work anymore?
2 minutes to call security. Jesus Christ, man.
Call security.
Get your shit and get the fuck out.
I was just watching something. It was really sad, but it was one of those police channels, like body camera channels where you can just watch police interact with weird interactions with people. And some lady came into an Amazon work center, and she wouldn't leave. It wasn't her day to work. And so the manager called the police. The manager was like, "She's not supposed to be here. She's not in the schedule. I told her 5 times she's not leaving, so she's got to go." And she's like, "But the app, you see the app says," like, "Ma'am, you gotta go." But I guess I didn't know that they just show up like with the app. Like they don't even know, who some of the people are when they were working in those Amazon work centers. They have an app on their phone and people just show up and work and they just tell them where to go.
Oh.
So they're like, "Do you know her?" He's like, "No, she's seasonal help, but she's not supposed to be here, so she can't work."
So what ended up happening? Well, I guess you
They
don't
threw her
know.
out. They tossed her out. They walked her out of the building. And she was still like
Do
trying
I
to
still
show him,
get,
like, "But I got."
do I still get
I see a,
half pay?
I've seen a
Maybe
lot of
for this
videos of
hour?
people getting tossed out. I think I might have seen the one Jerry's talking about, where people get belligerent. Something's going on at work. They'll get belligerent. The boss wants them to go. Call the cops. Cops got a body cam, so it's turned into this like form of entertainment now of cops body cams. You see a lot of it on A&E.
It's made me like sympathize with police officers. Um,
Just the
with all the
the
bullshit they have to
stupidity.
deal with all the mental people they have to deal with. Like
That's true. You see the
one cop
brutality
said,
too.
one cop said, like, I go out and 12 times a day, I got to go out to a domestic violence call about 12 times a day.
And
Like, I'm
these
like,
guys have no counseling.
Jesus.
They have
No,
no counseling
no,
in
no
that
counseling.
No.
Nobody, no, nothing. Just nothing. They have nothing. They got a bottle and their friends. Like that's all you got to cope.
I mean, if that's all they had to do, the trauma is insane. Like, you're seeing somebody tortured, you're seeing kids that watched it, you're seeing the man at their worst, drugged out, drunk. Ugh. I mean, that's just brutal. And then the people on the street, and the people in the liquor stores.
You know
It's
what?
just
It's the
Oh,
same thing. It's the same thing Jerry said about the prostitute, where they're like, "Hey, it's a life. Come join us. Look, I've got scars all over my arms, but it's a lifestyle. Join the department." It's
they're
the people
always
who
like
want
you.
that.
Just have people. You have no idea. You have no idea. Every cop says that. You just don't know what we have to go through. I went to the morgue with O'Connell. They're letting the actor go in there and they'll show you around. And the police forensics. It's just, I mean, just depressing. And they're just like, you get to see
Yeah.
this. Like they want to show, they want you to see it. Like, oh, you get to see what we deal with every day.
they want to impress you.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to show off too. By the way, that's the whole point of life is people showing off.
Yeah.
That is true. That's true.
Like, you say what you want. Actors, comedians, everybody, clowns. They're all just showing off.
That's their
But
taxi cab story. Everybody's got their show off story for the short taxi cab ride to tell the driver.
I was watching these guys take out slugs. This gangbanger had getting killed, and he was on the table, and they were taking out slugs. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't count how many bullets they were taking out of him, and he had some looked like ball bearings in his dick, and I was like, and they were like, they were laughing at it or whatever. That's what people should know that too. They were all like laughing at these fucking people.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, what? How did he get slugs there? How did that happen? Like bullets like travel around in their body? And she's just like, oh yeah. And it's like she's like, it's for fun. And I'm like, what? Fun? What are you talking about? I wasn't getting that it was like a body modification thing that he had done. I thought it was a bullet. So I was like, how did he get in? How did it get in there? He's like, he put it in there. I was like, he put a bullet in it? What? He's like, no. They do it for pleasure. I'm like, they do it for, they who? Gangbangers? She's like, no,
Where
people
was
like
it?
that, like at the morgue. I'm watching him take slugs out of a dead person. He had ball bearings in his dick that he'd done like for a body modification.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got that. It was in his wiener.
But I
Ribbed
thought,
for her pleasure.
yeah, but I thought a bullet
You
had
thought
gone
it was,
in
you
him, and
thought,
it was a slug in his dick, because they were pointing at it like, look at that,
like
and
a
I'm like,
BB.
yeah, I'm like,
No, I
how did the
didn't.
bullet
I
get in there?
didn't.
Of course, with the slugs, they get warped, they get almost flat, and like so I thought it was, I couldn't tell what it was. It just kind of a piece of metal in his dick,
Hey, this
Because
is the
you
ghost.
skipped ahead.
This is the
I
ghost of Roland. This is the ghost of
Roland.
Roland. I was killed last week. I was shot with a 9mm. 7 bullets entered my body, and the forensic team found ball bearings in my penis. And I just want to say, I wasn't shot in the penis. People are saying they blew his dick off. His dick was shot with like this. I said, no. I want to clarify. Those are for fun. Those are ball bearings I have in my penis. I have a large penis. Sometimes I have sexual partners that really like it. Well, in any case, that's none of your business. The fact is I didn't get my dick shot off. All right, thank you. I'm going back.
He kept looking at me. I was like, she's like, for pleasure. I'm like, for pleasure? Why would he do that? She's like, for her pleasure.
I've never heard of that in my life. I would have never known that unless you'd told me that.
Right?
That people even did that. Yeah, I'd be the same way. I'd be like, oh my God, it went through his dick? The bullet went through his dick?
Right. Yes, of course. But they were like, yeah, we see shit like this all the time, you know?
I think that happened to Popeye. He got shot in the neck and the bullet came out of his dick.
Jerry, why did they have to show you a dead body that was riddled with bullets and had body?
I was at the morgue. There was just that was just who happened to be in there. I saw every victim that came into the morgue that day.
Jerry O'Connell went because he was doing a cop show, so Jerry went with him to the morgue. Because they let you if you're an actor and you want to see what's going on. Yeah.
No, then we were talking to these cops. They were telling us about like it's like the worst is having to arrest somebody for child like endangerment, you know, after a child died. It's like that's the like, and they're like, and most of the time the people are just like, arrest me, like, you know, it's like you don't know how many people rolling over on babies that they get, people just going to sleep with the baby in the bed and rolling over on them, and the baby dying. Yeah, they get a ton of those all the time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to become aware of these things when you have a kid. I had a kid.
Yes,
and, you know,
people who have babies know that. Yeah.
We made sure that we never ever slept with the kid in the bed with us.
Well, people have like heroin and they sleep on. Yeah, they have heroin and they'll sleep on a baby. You know, it happens all the time. And it was just like
very
well, like Christopher Moltisanti in Sopranos, he killed the.
Well, he got killed.
Wait, Raj froze. It's now a cliffhanger. Who? I don't remember a baby being rolled over on in The Sopranos.
No, what the deal was when they got into the accident, and I hopefully he can hear me. When they got into when Tony and Christopher got into the accident, a tree branch had crashed through where his baby would have been in the car seat, and it was part of why Tony killed Christopher, because he was just like, this guy's just he's gonna die, you know, or he's gonna kill somebody. Did you hear that?
No.
I was saying to him, he was like, I don't remember a baby dying. It was like, no, when they got into the car accident, the branch had gone through the window right where the car seat was, and that was what made Tony decide to go ahead and kill Christopher. He's like, this guy's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah. He's gonna kill a baby. This guy. Yeah.
Or his
and also he kind of was like, he's been a fuck up for a long time at that point.
Yeah.
Really giving him a lot of breaks. So I agreed with that killing. Does that make me a bad person, Delaney?
Did he screw his woman up? No, I don't know. Did he screw over his woman too?
Yeah, well, yeah, he sold her out. He got as soon as he told her, he went and told Tony, right? And then Tony was like, "Okay, we'll figure it out."
And they killed her.
We'll take her to a safe house, and we'll all meet there, whatever. And then they myrtleize him. Not him, because he ends up snitching on her, right?
Yeah.
Crazy good show. Jesus Christ.
That was a long time ago. That was quite a soap opera. I didn't watch it when it was on. I was, of course, late to the very late comer. I watched a couple years late, but it really was the soap of the day.
I've watched it about 3 times, maybe 4. How about you? Because during the pandemic, I watched it.
Yeah, I did
for
too.
Sure.
Yeah, I did that rewatch. I followed along actually with him and watched every episode.
Yeah, then they did that podcast where they talked
Yeah.
about every episode.
Where they did what?
They talked about every episode.
Oh.
The name's not escaping me because I'm very high, but you know, the character that played
Steve Shrippa
Bobby. Yeah, Sharippa and who?
and
Who
Michael
played
Imperioli.
Christopher?
Michael
Imperioli.
Imperioli.
Yeah, they had there's a great podcast where they just talk about the show and get a lot of backstage details and, you know, fun stuff. And of course, everyone talks about Gandolfini like he's Jesus Christ, which is great.
I told Imperioli that I went to his bar one time I met him. He was like, "Oh yeah, I had that place. Me and my wife had that place."
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Oh, we did. There was a weird interaction where SNL people and Soprano people were in the same bar, and it was weird. Like we ended up leaving because it was like we kind of got the feeling of like, hey guys, get out of here. There's gonna be a private party.
Yeah, they were having some kind of party. I remember.
Yeah.
It was like all of them.
So you got edged out.
But yeah, I think we got edged out. But the Catan was talking to the Christopher girlfriend gal, and I think they got like a little territorial. Like, hey, come on, don't pick up our chicks. Fuck out of here.
I remember once the guy from Creed, the Creed singer, showed up at a
Scott
UCB
Stapp?
party. It's one of our first. We used to have New Year's parties in the early days, and he showed up to a New Year's party. He was hitting on every girl at the party, and it was really bothering Jesse Falcon. And Falcon was going to go up and say something to him. I said, "You know what he needs? He needs a hug." And Jesse's like, "You're right." And he goes up. And I see Jesse walk up to him, starts close talking him for a little while, you know. They couldn't hear anything. It was a party. He goes up, he's doing the close talk, and then I see him go in, man, for the hug, just held him. And the Creed guy was gone. 5 minutes later, he was out of there.
Perfect. Enough of this.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably told him, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to fuck you in the bathroom. I'm going to rape you. That's probably what he said. Jesse Falcon's a nutbag. I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
He invented the fist, didn't he? He invented the Hulk fist.
Yes, he did.
Oh, he invented that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was his idea. You know,
Man.
And so he put it together. He got the engineers to do it. You know,
The growling one, right?
It's a great where you put your hand in.
Yeah. All of them now. Now you have like Captain America and everybody, you know.
Yeah, but they don't growl anymore. I bought some for my kid. I looked all over for those things, and and I couldn't find the ones that growled. There was something.
They're trying to take the growl out. You're trying to erase history by taking the growl out of Hulk.
Yeah.
Because Hulk.
I didn't know about the growl.
I don't like what they've done to Hulk. They shouldn't have a animation or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Is he too smart now?
It should just be a bigger guy, like Lou Ferrigno. Just get a gigantic guy.
You mean making him so big, like he's got to be like animated?
Well, now he's just like a cartoon. He jumps around on buildings. You know, he leaps from fucking block to block.
It's still what's his face though. It's still that guy, the actor, is playing him.
Yeah, but it's him like with all this bullshit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and he's like 10 times the size as everybody else right now.
And he's doing stuff that Hulk never did, but now you got to make him do action stuff. So now he's springing around.
I don't know if you remember, but that cartoon, that really bad cartoon, he could fly. Like he could jump high enough where he could fly. He could.
Right.
All right, I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
Ron,
yeah, he jumped.
He's already flying. Go ahead.
Where are you? Are you reporting in from Moscow? What's happening? Why have you gone audio?
He doesn't.
I don't have audio.
You're only audio.
No, we don't have video. We don't have visual on you.
Oh well, no, just deal with that for a minute. This is a very busy time for. No, it's just people to get on the internet at this time. People are checking their emails and stuff.
Okay.
Bandwidth.
So yeah, I gotta like every episode I have to say like I need to get new internet, but I never do.
I'm sorry, just checking in.
No, that's okay, man.
Boy.
Um,
We lost George Wendt.
just put a picture of me up there.
Put a picture of George Wendt.
Me and George. There's a picture of me and George Wendt doing update.
Was he on update when you did your stint, or did you guys do a thing?
No, they included me in the Bears thing.
Hmm.
But just to be an
The
asshole,
Bears.
I wouldn't say "da Bears." I would say "the Bears." and then George Wendt came out and goes, "Forgive my nephew. He's got a speech impediment. He can't say "da Bears."
Yes,
I was just trying to
you
bust
being one of
Jimmy
the
up. I was
super
basically just trying
fans.
to make Jimmy laugh and not give him the. There's just such a common catchphrase that my take was like, I'm not going to give it to him. It was just
That's good.
like I don't think. Yeah, thank you. Let me see here. Yeah, George went past.
See how big he is?
That thing.
Wait, did he crush a car with 1 foot?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's 100 feet tall.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes on that cartoon, sometimes he would be that big. Sometimes he would be like big enough where you could like slap him. You know.
I guess it depended on how mad he was. Like if you're taking too long ordering in front of him at McDonald's, he gets mad and he turns into like Hulk, but it's the same size. But if you steal his catalytic converter, you can become 100 feet high. Is that a thing in New York? In LA, there was a thing where everybody was stealing catalytic converters.
Oh, it still is.
Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah. I think some guy got killed here in New York.
Yeah, he did. Somebody
He was
trying to
preventing somebody, trying to prevent someone from stealing it.
I thought it was the other way around.
Crazy.
I thought he killed somebody that was trying to steal his, but yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? I'm not sure. Then that might have been a different. That's probably a different incident.
It happens all the time.
Separate incidents.
Yeah.
Well, there's one in LA too.
Yeah, it happens all the time in LA. And somebody trying to steal a converter, and somebody finding somebody under their car and shooting them, or
Oh Jesus! What kind of world are we living in here?
Steinbeck talks about the fact that when they had the Model T was such a standard car. So many people had Model Ts that it was almost like everybody had the same car. So it made it really convenient for if someone's car broke down to just go to someone else's car and just open the hood, and everybody would steal parts from everybody else's cars. Especially if you're on the road.
Of course. I gotta make it back to fucking Saskatchewan.
We gotta get back to Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. I'm not gonna stay here all day. I'm stealing that fella's tailpipe. Hey there. I was just stopping to have a sarsaparilla, and I see this guy over here stealing my hubcap.
Did they have hubcaps? You had to do a lot of different shit. There was a lot of different handles and bullshit. I think first gear was like its own special gear, and that had a handle, and then reverse had its own gear. That was a handle. And then once you got going, there was a separate handle. You were
different
going.
gears.
Both hands and both feet were busy all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no and no road rules. No rules, you had to stay on one side of the road, no traffic lights, no stop signs.
Yeah, they hadn't established rules, I guess, yet.
You see those films of them driving around like in the 20s, and they're just like all over, like in cities, and it's just a madness.
That's not because the camera's overcranked or undercranked.
No, you see, there's some films you can see like traffic, like from far away, and it's insane. Like, yeah. Oh, let's see what's going on with Horatio. Hey, what happened?
My connection is horrible.
Oh, here, you're trying to get in again. Okay, let's see.
I'm trying to get in. I'll probably get in then but I got kicked off again. So I was like, maybe I'll try to call in. I wonder if you could put me on the air if
This
I was
is
like,
good.
you know.
I can hear.
This
Yeah, I
is
got the
good.
phone up to the microphone. Yeah.
Hey, Raj, we
Oh,
got
so
a
you can hear
question.
me? That's interesting. I did like a call in
My fucking
because my
video
fucking
so
video
horrible.
is so horrible.
You're
Well,
right.
here I am. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It was working. Roger was working beautifully.
It was working better, probably,
It was.
yeah.
It sounded good. It sounded like an old-fashioned radio show where someone calls in
Yeah.
and like, "Hey, I'm calling in. I got my new coffee. I'm promoting. Everyone come down to the Civic Center. We're gonna have a booth."
He's trying to ease you out. Say, oh, it's great, man, when you do that. Just call on the phone.
Yeah. Trying to get
No,
me
I'm
out of
just
man.
saying- I'm just
Squeeze
saying
me
that
out of the
wasn't,
picture.
It wasn't bad.
Well, that's good. Next time I get kicked off for a while, which will probably happen soon, maybe I'll just call back.
I could have
Yeah,
you call.
I thought
I could have you do.
Technically, it worked.
Yeah, it worked. I could have you do it that way, or I could have you call my computer, and I could have you, and I could just hear you too.
Maybe we should try that. No, I'm fine. I'm sorry for these interruptions.
It's fine. When you go away, it's fine too. We just like for a while we could hear you and not see you.
Yeah.
And you just come back.
Well, I can see you guys when I'm, even when I'm on, I can see you, but you'll freeze. And eventually, when you freeze, that's when I know that it's really out.
Okay.
But what were you saying, Delaney? I missed it.
Yeah, what were we saying, Jerry?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe one of those people out in the audience can tell me.
Well, Joe Ware asked a question. Raj, maybe you can answer that question. I think I know my answer is who is bigger, Jolly Green Giant or Hulk?
Jolly Green Giant.
I thought so. Jolly Green Giant is a legit giant, like in Jack and the Beanstalk. He's like insanely huge.
Which seems weird too that the giant would live in a tree like that, but
on a cloud. Oh, I thought he lived in the clouds.
No, doesn't he live on the tree that goes up to
Jolly Green Giant?
The tree just takes you up to the Cloud City.
No. You're all wrong. He lives like in the valley where all the vegetables are. He doesn't live.
That's the Jolly Green. We're talking.
Oh, you talking about the mean giant? Jack and the
No, I'm talking about the Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, he just lives in the fucking amongst the vegetables.
Right, see, I got the mean giant from Jack and the Beanstalk confused with the Jolly Green Giant.
It happens.
They're the same race.
Same race.
I'm sorry.
The same race.
The other same race.
Like, the fuck, I'm green. He's not the same race as me. I'm green. I'm a green giant. The fuck
we have the DNA here. We have the DNA right here.
It's because he eats
and
too much
it says
vegetables.
that you're also related to the Hulk. And Kermit the Frog. You green bastards, get out of my office.
How come when someone gets huge, they paint him green? Why do they make the big guys green? What's that about?
The Green Giant. Well, some advertiser must have been like, well, he got high, and then he's like, the next day he came in and he's like, what if we have a giant? What? We're just trying to sell peas, man. Yeah. So eventually they turned it into this beautiful campaign. Now we think giants that are green are because of peas, not because they're like a weird witch or something.
But for some reason, giants get connected to colors. You remember the Great Ape? They felt he had to have a color assigned to him.
Yeah,
Green giant.
SF Schultz
Yeah.
says he's jolly though. The Hulk does brute shit. Jolly Green Giant probably does poetry and shit.
Yeah.
I don't think he does. I think he's kind of stupid.
I
The
think Jolly Green
Giant.
Giant's clothes is like a leaf sash.
He
He's
has
like
a
a
leaf.
Tarzan kind of guy. He just like he's a
His all
creature
his
of the
all his clothes
forest.
are made of leaves. Yeah.
Yeah,
And all the
fig
people in the
leaves.
village are little people.
Everyone's a little person to him.
So he just lays down, and then on the border of where they live, they probably made him a sheet or something. Took 3 years that they made a quilt for him, and he just lays at the edge of town. And if anybody comes to mess with the vegetables, he kills them. And so
That's
eventually,
the
all
back
these green things
history.
they turn to anger. Eventually, they just all turn to anger. All the green things.
Eventually, yeah.
So it's going to be a bloodbath ultimately.
Um, yeah, maybe that's an interesting
That's it. Look at his
an interesting
clothes.
fight. Is the Jolly Green Giant versus the Jack and the Beanstalk Giant.
His clothes are
That'd be a
completely
good fight.
organic.
Jack and the Beanstalk Giant isn't green. I'm sorry, I just made that up, right?
No, it was happening only in my mind because I'm a little big.
Yeah, this is all just
Why?
in our minds, a cloud above our minds.
Why are you making us fight? Fight, giants!
We're brothers.
Brother, no.
Who's the referee? Here comes Hulk. He's the referee. We know hit underbelt. You know hit underbelt. During fight.
When Terry Gilliam had needed a giant for Time Bandits, so he shot him from way down, and I think he was in a ditch maybe, and he got all these really heavy set guys, and shot him in super slow mo.
Just did perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta see that. What's that? Time Bandits?
Uh-huh.
That was one of my favorite movies, man. When I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I loved it. Well, I took a hit of acid before going and seeing that movie when it came out. So
How old were you?
But 13, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what
14.
I thought. Yeah.
It was very popular in the neighborhood.
Can I out your marijuana use, Delaney?
Yeah.
You once told me, maybe when I first met you, you were like, yeah, I always get high before a movie, and it was always so weird to me. I'm like, you're not seeing the movie as it's like, no, it just heightens it. It just heightens it. I'm feeling the same emotions. It just makes the colors brighter, or whatever you were saying. But I get it.
It can definitely make a more boring movie more interesting. That's for sure.
It makes a boring movie more tolerable, and also there is a downside, and that's if it's a complicated story, you got to keep a lot of names straight. That's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
also,
forgetting stuff.
Sometimes when I get baked and I watch the beginning of a movie, I get really inspired, and I come up with an idea for my own movie, and then I'm too busy just basking in my own idea that I think is good in that like millisecond, and lose.
You're basking in
lose
your
the
own
thread.
fantasies.
Yeah. I'm like, and then I say to myself, "You idiot! You're watching a movie. Don't try to write a movie while you're watching a movie. Just watch the movie."
That's the curse of but being in this. I mean, I don't think I've ever watched anything. It takes a lot for me to watch something out of pure enjoyment without analyzing it and going like, oh, that's what works about that, or that's what I would do, or I wouldn't do that, or
I hate that.
Yeah. But if it's really good, it'll get me. You know. Say it again, Horatio.
I just thought of the late great Gary Shandling. And I was lucky enough to have dinner with him, and he was talking to me about like he wanted to do a show, and then I talked to him about how great his shows were, and he told me about his shows, and then he's like, I was like, why don't you make another show? He's like, I kind of wanna, but you got to wait for the right thing, and it's just like I haven't been able to, and I totally understand. Even though he had done 2 great shows, he's like, and he was probably just like, I don't want it, I don't have it, I don't need it, right?
It's
Like
interesting
you
because
understand that now. You understand that as you get older,
yeah, I'm like,
that you just got to
guys,
just like you're just not going to do these things anymore. They're just like you're not going to write that play.
you know,
Um,
you know already what you can't top, right? So it's just like if I can't top that, I think that's what stops a lot of people. And that might stop a lot of like good stuff too. You don't see musicians doing
yeah,
that as much,
yeah. I'm just saying it's kind of what it is. I'm not saying it's good.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean
I
saying
gotta
people
say,
sometimes it's
should.
good
I
because you don't
hate
put
that
out a lot of
people.
bullshit.
I hate that people feel they got to top shit, meaning it's got to be bigger, better. I think
Can't help
that
it.
they should just focus on doing different stuff.
Yeah,
Um, like
you
Lennon,
should.
I feel like John Lennon wasn't trying to top the Beatles. He was
I know,
just trying
but
to do his own
musicians,
thing.
you see, musicians do that less. I think unless they're really have the pressure on them to make a hit, to make it something that everybody likes. But you see musicians more tend to more go like, well, I'm just gonna do the next thing, and like it's still frustrating if they do something nobody likes it. You know what I mean? But they,
Usually, when your
Yeah, we
favorite guy,
as consumers, they're a product. They're like a Milky Way, and we like our Milky Way this way. We don't want you putting, you know,
Rice Krispies.
making spearmint Milky Ways. It's more of a purist thing, I think. That that we like. I want Radiohead to sound like Radiohead. I don't want to hear them do, a country album.
yeah,
So I'm
What's
sure it would be great.
it would be
Sure, it would be
good though.
great.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
good.
uh,
SNL cast
excuse me.
alumni. Regarding SNL cast alumni, what's your favorite movie or TV show that one has done? Mine is Stranger Than Fiction. What was Stranger Than Fiction?
well, that
Was
was
that the
Will.
Will Ferrell movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Oh right, yes, that's a. I don't think I saw that.
a Blues Brothers
It's
fan
pretty good.
myself.
It's pretty good. It's him and his like moving into a serious.
Yeah,
Um,
is he a writer in that one night? Oh right, auditor finds out his life is the subject of a narration only he can hear.
of a what?
His life becomes a narration that only he can hear. There's a narrator
Oh,
in his head.
I
yeah.
haven't
His
seen
wife
that one
leaves
for
him.
a
His
while.
wife leaves him, and he just becomes like, fuck it, and he just lives in his yard with all his shit on the lawn. So I guess he's been kicked. I don't know. I think
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
that's
wild. It's a pretty good movie.
yeah,
I
yeah, it is
agree,
good.
but that's not an SNL movie by any
Well,
stretch.
he's just saying this alumni. What's the
Oh,
favorite
as far
movie
as
that an
a movie
alumni has done?
of,
And mine has got to be Tomcats. Actually, let's get.
What? Wait, what's the question?
As far as any cast alumni, what's your favorite movie that one has done?
Oh, well, the Blues Brothers when I was a kid, and then the last one I liked a lot was MacGruber.
I haven't seen that either.
Fucking it
MacGruber's
murdered
so
me.
funny.
Yeah,
Jerry, you don't underestimate what they could do with MacGruber. Was really funny.
Oh no,
yeah.
I love the sketch. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Um,
And you're thinking, well, how can they make a movie out of that? It's just, I think I don't know if that was big enough for the general public to be like, oh, I'm gonna go see that movie because no one really, movie. He wasn't a movie star or anything.
Right.
And it
People like
didn't
the
do
yeah,
well in the
sketch.
box office, which is unfortunate because it really is fucking hilarious.
yeah, it's
Getting,
funny. Big laughs. There's big laughs.
I think
yeah,
you guys just got cursed by at some point. Just after Wayne's World,
9/11.
you couldn't do a sketch movie anymore.
Who?
So after Wayne's World, it just seemed impossible to do a movie based on a sketch anymore.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they'll try again.
Get Austin Powers.
Maybe Lauren's probably like, I don't want to fuck around with that, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, he probably passed on Austin Power. Well, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't
Austin
know.
Powers.
Austin Powers kind of came when Mike Myers was like having a hard time. A lot of stuff, his movie stuff hadn't that he did after Wayne's World hadn't worked, and he just had that character.
Yeah.
Um,
And then
Married
didn't
an
he
Axe
become?
Murderer? Was that
Speaking
before?
of giants, it all wraps around. Shrek. Voice.
Voice of Shrek.
Shrek.
Voice of Shrek.
Oh, but that must have been a huge just boom for his.
And it was supposed to be Farley, but then Farley done died, and then
Right.
they say that.
Oh, this keeps happening, man. That's the best.
Another cliffhanger.
Somebody said, is he on a different? What did it say? Is he on a cruise ship? Cruise ship Wi-Fi.
Yep. He's on the boat trip. Jerry, what's your favorite movie by an SNLer?
Oh, he's gonna try to do this again. Let's see. There he is. Movie by SNLer.
What were we just talking about? I was making a point.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Somebody said you're videotaping from a cruise ship Wi-Fi.
That's it. That's basically it. It just made me think of Boat Trip, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Boat Trip.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite movie with SNL alumni. Boat Trip.
Jerry, you turned down Boat Trip.
I turned it down.
Or a tornado mess. What were they gonna make? They were gonna make you a gay guy or something?
I was gonna be a trans. I think it was a singer or something. Yeah.
It was a terribly offensive trans character.
The only trans character in the movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been saddled with that. I'd have been like to this day. They'd been like, "You did that. That's mean."
Yeah, no, you're in the black community. You would never be respected after a move like that.
Oh no! I wouldn't have been able to do anything with yeah. As they say though, my career would have skyrocketed, and I would have been in the top of Hollywood.
The Boat Trip was my first movie.
No, that's true too. You could have been in the what do you call Illuminati?
Right.
Sometimes I forget that we're in the Illuminati because I don't.
Because we're not getting the benefits.
I'm not getting the benefits yet. Yeah, I just contribute to it, and
Yeah.
now it's just automatic payment, so I don't even see it, and I forget that I'm in the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
I drink the baby's blood, but I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't feel the powers.
Blood? I think it's just some kind of beet juice. I'm not getting
stuff
anything
the
good out of
Democrats
this
send
situation.
everywhere.
They're saying, well, we gotta lay low because of Diddy. I guess I get it, but it's still frustrating.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so we're all in Illuminati. It just sounds. It's to me when people talk about that there's perverts in Hollywood and all this stuff. I'm like, this is like Bigfoot. This is like people that believe in Bigfoot. And forgive me, Delaney, if you believe in Bigfoot.
No.
I can't hear Delaney. That's the only bad part.
Oh, he can't.
Oh,
Delaney,
no.
He can't hear you because I have my headphones on.
Oh my God! But he can hear me.
Yeah, he can hear you because I have you up to the mic.
I should call him on my other phone.
Why is like,
No.
I can have you call on the computer, but I forgot how to do this.
I'll just go back on. I'm sure they'll let me back on for a minute, and then they'll go away again. Fuck, it's been really bad today.
Hey,
So
why
how
did you
I
put your
lost you
name
guys.
as Delvin in Delaney? Who's Delvin?
Did I put Delvin?
Devlin.
I don't know.
Who put Devlin in?
I was probably beginning to write my name, and I gave up. And
No, maybe
Oh,
Devlin
you were
wants to
putting
join
Delaney
us.
in?
That's a Kofifi moment.
You were putting Delaney in, and they may have
Yeah, so
whatever. Yeah. Okay,
I'm
Delvin.
back.
Good to
Raj,
see
you
you.
back?
Good to see you.
I'm calling the cable company after this podcast. I'm calling up my cable company and dealing with this situation. They're gonna sell me some new thing like, yeah, it's a 555 band technology that's $200 a month.
They will.
Thumbs up.
They will try to sell you that.
Yeah.
Jerry, now I got to call you back. I'm having a technical difficulty. I somehow lost you guys.
You can't see us,
No, can't see anything.
but you can hear us.
We can see you.
I
We
can
can
see
see
you.
you and we
Alright.
can hear you.
I can see your beautiful face.
It got
Yeah, you got a nice haircut. About time.
reduced. You guys got reduced and went away. And
Carnival
then,
Cruise satellite internet.
I'm on Carnival Cruise now. Where on Carnival Cruise they serve Chilean coffee. The other alternative from Colombian coffee.
These
With
cruise ships
Colombian
have got.
Cruise, it's only just people fighting. Like
Oh, I know.
that's part. I think it's part of the. It's probably made them popular. I don't know.
Yeah, that people can just that they can go on and get drunk. Yeah, that's definitely what's made them popular.
It seems like
But-
it's a lot of black people like just going nuts, like on vacation.
Well, now they got these crazy these new cruise ships they have. What's that new one with that's like it's like a amusement park on the deck.
Oh my God, yeah.
That I don't want. I don't need to be hanging off
Right?
the edges. Yeah, no. No, I don't want.
And it's scary to be. It's psychologically weird to be bound to this ship.
Yeah, that too.
But it's fun. I really enjoyed it for a while.
All right, I'm back.
But if you're not getting drunk, I don't see there's not much really to enjoy there.
If I'm drunk, the last place I want to be is on a ship.
No, that's the first place I want to be. We were going through rough seas, and we all had to put our life vests on, and then we were in the bar, and the DJ was playing, we're all dancing in the fucking ships, like, hey,
No.
and it was really one of the most fun times I ever had in my life because it's also a little thrilling that you might go down in a disaster.
Raj, if I had gone to Greece with you, I would have got seasick the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
I get seasick. So had I.
Oh yeah, you would have gotten seasick at that portion of the cruise. Best thing about boat trip is that we really were on a boat. If nothing else, that's just the weirdest kind of way to make a movie about something. It's like
And
with
on
the
a
German crew,
half the cruise.
all German crew.
on a working
He
boat.
froze.
Yeah,
He froze.
he'll come back. There he
I
is.
was there. I was in boat trip, so I was on set. I only had one line. I only worked for a day, but I hung around for a while to keep Raj company. He got a deal so that they put me up at a hotel. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go to Cologne for 10 days. And this German crew, they don't have comedy over there so much.
They have comedy. It's just not funny.
They have it. They're
He
not
says
known
German-
for their comedy.
You said they don't have comedy in Europe?
Oh no, they
I said
didn't.
Europe.
Germans didn't get it. Germans were it was the worst kind of thing. Their claim to fame was that they could switch out cameras faster than anybody because they were so technically inclined. So that's what they would do. Anything technical was perfect, but they didn't get it at all, And then, but God bless them, it was a German guy producing it, so we had to be part of it. Was we had to shoot in Germany, I'm sure that was part of the funding.
I like the
Yep.
crew, but if anything vaguely sexual, they thought was hilarious. And
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't. I've. I once was friends with a lady online in Germany, and I said I said something about Nazi, and she freaked out. She was like, "Don't say that. That's not funny." And I'm like,
No, they
Jesus
don't.
Christ.
They do not. They do not think any of that. They do not deal with that stuff at all. They don't joke about that
Yeah,
shit at
yeah.
all.
The joke. It's not. Yeah,
Nope.
it's not something we joke about. On top of what we don't laugh at anything anyway.
I'll
Right.
say
Right. Right.
Jerry, when I was in Germany with at a taxi cab with Raj and Eddie, and we hadn't been in that cab more than 5 minutes before Eddie brought up the Nazis. I swear to God.
The late great Eddie
God
Driscoll.
bless him. God bless
He
him.
was he never changed behavior. If he was in Jersey, if he was in New York, if he was in California,
Yeah,
they were like it was always a complaint about
Cologne.
something on top of it. Always mad about something that the Germans had done.
Well, we got
And
slated in Germany. We went to the concert, the Amy Mann concert. Raj sent a note backstage that he was, if she wanted to hang out, whatever, after the show. We didn't hear back. Whatever, she wasn't. Whatever, she was busy.
yeah, we tried
And
to get a
Eddie
hold of
says,
Amy Mann and say like, hey, we watched the show, we love you, if you want to hang out, and she didn't want to. So Eddie was like, I'm gonna slash the tires on the tour bus. I'm like, Eddie, no.
he's
Like,
like, hey
what are you
guys,
nuts?
you know what we should do? We should
He's
go
like,
and
fuck
slash
them,
the
they
tires.
disrespect us. I'm gonna put a fucking knife into all the time. I'm like, no, Eddie, calm down, calm down. And he literally took a breath
Amy
and
Man
calmed
probably
down.
just wanted to go to sleep. Like, guys, I have to go to sleep. Like, I'm not.
Of course, she wants to go to bed.
Yeah,
Just gonna
I got to
do
get
our
up
show.
early.
We're gonna leave. I don't know, something, whatever it was like, I don't want to deal with like five comedy dicks coming. Uh, but yeah, that was Eddie. It was just wonderful. But every time like that, and then I got roped in because the first AD and Eddie were friends somehow, drinking buddies. So, and then the second AD was a friend of the first AD, and they were all like the same kind of like American fuck you. They just came in with the worst attitude. So
Rude American. Yeah.
rude. They were making jokes about the Germans, and then the Germans were pissed off, and then eventually there was like an argument or something, and like I, I was playing CDs on the back of this boat on a boombox, and I forgot, and I think someone threw my CDs over the over the edge of the boat. It was just like a book, like
Oh, cliffhanger.
a giant thing with all my CDs. And they fucking shake over the fucking back because they're like, that's those fucking assholes, those anti-German dickheads. They're always going on about how everything here is fucked up. Because it was. Every time I go to a foreign place, all I notice is how wonky everything is. I should be noticing its beauty, but I'm just like, oh God, that's your air conditioner?
I
This is
know.
fucked up.
Roger's so
Oh,
homesick when he was
yeah.
in
I mean,
Germany.
immediately, I just like, but no, there's, every nothing is as, I don't know. It must be the money, but nothing is as advanced as the United States. I'm sure maybe Japan I've never been to, but then yeah, there's always going to be something in Japan where I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that for? I'm sure.
Hey,
I'm sure.
I felt that way in Canada, and I mean, you can look at pictures of Canada and not see any difference in the United States.
I
But
feel that way
after I
in
was
the
there
United
for a while,
States.
yeah. Well, after I was in Canada for a while, I'm like, I gotta get back home, man. They don't have the same cigarettes. They don't have the same beer. Like this is stuff that you
Yeah, it's
don't
strange.
think about. And you're like, ah.
Yeah, London's that way. It's hard.
Uh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
hard in a
Canada.
city where you don't know the.
Yeah, I like Canada because Toronto was a big drink city, so there was always places to have a good time there.
They have something called booze cans. Look
Toronto.
up, Yeah, booze cans and what's the first thing they call, not blind pig, but like if it's a late night place.
I think booze cam's a fun idea. You just get a camera on your glasses like those Ray-Bans, and then just go get drunk. And people could be like,
Booze
"Do a
cam.
shot, do a shot." Like, all right, and then booze cam, and you see all the adventures I get into.
It was booze can. I think that's their expression. Booze can. I think that's a place that stays open, or it may be a dive bar, maybe.
A bar like that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a dive bar.
I forget. You know, would know Kevin Dorff.
He would.
He would know all of them.
Raj, booze cam's pretty good idea. You know, if you find people who are kind of the life of the party types, and you send them on a pub crawl, and you give them a booze cam, so that other people can see how it's done, how you be the life of the party. You get a, you know.
And then the next day, I talk to the person. I'm like, listen, this is wonderful footage, but maybe you don't want this out there. But
you want to,
so you blackmailed them?
Like a pornographer, I would make them sign a release right away. Let's give away their rights, like a wrestler, like a porn star. Same occupation, same suicide rate.
That's the way we did at Michael Moore too. You make him sign a release before you do the interview.
All those things are shady like that. Like sure. Fucking
Sacha Cohen probably does the same thing.
Sacha Cohen doing that.
Getting Rudy
both
Giuliani.
those movies killed me, by the way. Those were fucking hilarious. No doubt hilarious.
His stuff always kills.
He's apparently a dick machine, so that's probably why you haven't seen him in a while.
I want to get Walsh on to talk about some hidden camera stuff, because I've done a number of hidden camera things. I just did something that not too long ago. It was not hidden camera, but where people didn't know that didn't necessarily know you were actors. And Walsh did something. He wrote for Sacha for the last movie he made, right? And then he also did Man Bites Dog, which was a show that a lot of the producers that Sacha Baron Cohen works with, that they did like it was a news team that went out and talked to real people, but they were actors. But yeah, I'm going to talk to him a lot about that, because we've done a lot between us both, and UCB. UCB did a lot, used to do bits too in the real world.
Crossballs. Let's talk about crossballs.
We did crossballs, yeah.
When UCB always had a prank element in their TV episodes of some sort, often if it was only in the credits. But the glasses were so huge, they were still goggles. You couldn't get too stealth.
Those hidden glasses that Besser had?
Yeah, they were so big they had to have like somebody wear them who was just had just walked in,
he had to be with a guy who had a top hat on.
Yeah, or had a seeing eye dog.
He's gonna help me out today.
And you had to have a cane and an eye dog. Like, please help me.
Why is that creepy Lincoln guy staring at me? I'm not staring. I'm blind.
I'd have to say Little Donnie was one of my favorite bits that they would do.
Yeah, Little Donnie on the Today Show is the best. It's funniest fucking
There was
thing.
a song, Little Donnie had a theme song, Enormous Penis. And everybody's singing like We Are the World. These songs. They asked when they got the people on the street to do it, they said, we're promoting Peanuts. Will you sing Enormous Peanuts? And they got people to all happily sing Enormous Peanuts. Sign the release.
I did a podcast Comedy Bang Bang, and I just did the character was just that. It was just like I'm a peanuts farmer. Like, you're saying penis. I'm not saying penis. You're being ridiculous.
I'm a penis farmer.
I'm a penis farmer.
I farm.
I like
peanuts.
to eat. I love penises. Penis. And it was just that
I
back
love
and forth. You just said penis.
It did not.
Stupid, but fun. Stupid, but fun.
So, Jerry, you doing a thing about Spy Camp? Well, Coyle and Sharp. Walsh one time got Mal Sharp to come and do a thing at UCB. Like it was just a panel show, but
Yeah,
it was very cool.
I remember
because,
that.
Coyle and Sharp were early pranksters who were
Yeah.
put on artists. That was their thing, was the put on. To see how far they could. What they would do is get someone to agree to a premise. Like, would you do this? Would you do X? And they would always say no, usually say, no, I wouldn't do that. But then they would talk to them about a series of things, and and by the end of it, they'd restate the question. So, would you travel the world as a professional musician, pressing on animals, producing sounds for a symphony orchestra? And at the end, the guy would go, I guess I would.
Uh-huh.
I would.
I gotta find what's his face too that did the voices of the radio show, Raj. Can't think of his name. I guess he still does it, right?
A Sharpling?
Radio show.
No, the guy who does all the voices that does different characters, but people don't think.
Oh, Jeff Ross.
He froze. He was about to tell you the name. Oh, the guy Raj likes that he listens to?
Yeah.
That he used to play his own callers?
Yes.
Yeah, what is his name? Raj. When I would sleep over at Raj's place, Raj would listen to that stuff either really early in the morning or really late at night, loud. Like at the time when you were normally sleeping.
Well, that's when he came really on. When I first got to LA, and Bob Odenkirk picked me up. He picked me up at the airport. No, he picked me up. We were going to Gary Shandling's house to go play basketball.
Wow.
He's just like, this is my first week in LA.
Ooh.
I know, it's weird. And he's just like, you want to play basketball? I was like, yeah. So we're on our way to Gary Shandling's house, and he's like, you got to hear this radio show. This is my favorite show. This guy is like an LA staple, and it was him. Still can't think of his name now.
No, but now that we're back to Gary Shandling, did you see the thing he did? I think that interview thing that he was doing was kind of interesting at the time. He was doing these real raw interviews, and he had Ricky Gervais on, and it was like a little disaster.
Who did?
Gary Shandling.
He did?
Yeah. You
I don't remember that.
He had all these intimate conversations. He had Sharon Stone on. They were exes, and she was the most Sharon Stone you can imagine her. They were these super raw, intimate sit-downs he was doing. Now, Gervais had his camera crew working also. Gervais brought his crew with him. And so when Gary Shandling walks in, there was immediate conflict. It was pure conflict. They were like oil and water. Raj, you remember the Gary Shandling, Ricky Gervais? So finally, after a whole to-do about whose camera's who and your crew, and I thought we were going to show up at this time, finally they get sitting down on the couches, and Gervais tells him, you look like Bingo. And he's like, who's Bingo? I don't know who Bingo is. And he goes, oh, you don't know Bingo? And Bingo turns out to be one of the banana splits. He's the one who had the big row of teeth. And he's like, oh, at least there was something flattering. And so it was off to a vicious start.
Who were you thinking of? You said it, Mickey, Raj, but we couldn't hear you, the DJ or the radio host.
Phil Hendry, but I was going to say Jeff Richards.
Yeah, Phil Hendry, but Jeff Richards.
Jeff Richards does one where he just does the deep fakes, and he has the face.
His deep fakes are crazy and scary,
incredible.
Scary. It's spot
He's
on.
incredible. He's incredible. He sent me a message because he knows I love it. I'd like to play it.
I could play it right on there if you send it to
Oh,
me.
go for it.
Go ahead.
My feet won't touch the floor anymore. My feet won't touch the floor anymore. Jimmy Fallon. How you doing, Horatio? How you doing, man? So good to see you, man. It's incredible, you know what I mean? Fantastic, incredible, fantastic. Yeah, I'm a baby.
He knows I love his Jimmy Fallon impression. And so I don't know. Just yesterday afternoon, he sent the treat. He's in all honesty, to these 5 people watching, Jeff Richards was not my cup of tea. I didn't think he was that. I think he just wasn't ready. He just wasn't. He didn't have any know-how really. And then he went and just became super funny. And now he's really funny. Like he's done it enough now, and he's gotten his 10,000 hours, and he's really funny.
Well, I can tell the folks too. Who knows what you're going through personally on that show? There's a lot of people who don't who don't react well under that kind of pressure, who don't do their best work under that kind of environment.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But even outside the show, he would make me laugh by doing impressions of people like Leo Allen.
I've never heard anyone do Leo.
No.
He did a Leo Allen where he would clog up his nose because Leo Allen was constantly his nose was clogged up from allergies or sinus infections. That's why he would do that thing where, he would include that in the impression, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking man. And because he knew how to make it funny. It wasn't exactly like it, but he picked up on the 2 weird things that he did.
That was the whole key. That can I interject? But that's the key to my Bill Walton. Bill Walton, if you want to do Bill Walton, you have to close up your nose because it's the same with Jesse Ventura. They're up here. They're athletes, and they're using their broadcaster voice. Oh, he froze.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Well, I interjected. I guess a good time to interject if you're fixing to freeze.
Right.
Yeah, Bill Walton really going to obviously be a Hall of Fame player, but everything was way up in the nasal passages. My favorite funny announcer was Walt Frazier, because he would always try to make little dipsy doodle things up, little.
Yeah.
There he is.
The last thing I said was giant. They had giant balls, and then I cut out.
The guy.
Bill Walton sounds like he has just giant baseball-sized testicles.
On the table anymore.
Huh?
Thought you meant the corpse on the table.
No, Bill Walton. He's got balls the size with like 2 baseballs in his scrotum.
That's an everyone.
So when you hear guys that talk like that, like Shaq must have giant balls because he's always like, it's because their balls are so big and filled with jizz. They're so virile. They're so virile that their balls are like the size of 16-inch softballs.
That's what it was.
Imagine getting the Arabian goggles from Shaq.
I think the reason that Wilt Chamberlain got to be in Conan was because that Kareem had already done probably Enter the Dragon and perhaps even Airplane. Yes, definitely did Airplane.
Yeah.
So now the gate.
I gotta have my 7-footer.
The gate's open for 7-footers.
I gotta have my center.
Did you guys watch? Did you guys watch the game yesterday?
I did. Did it make you happy?
Milo watched it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Did I send you that video of those Knicks fans after they won?
Pissed?
No, after they won. After last week.
What
there's
they
a
did?
cut of them. There's a cut of them all out in the all out in front of the garden,
In the alley, yeah.
just going crazy. Yeah, and like throwing garbage at a guy in a Pacers uniform. This was before they even played.
No.
This was like when they just won. They had just beaten Boston, and there was a guy walking across the street in a Pacers uniform, and they all start throwing garbage on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
That's a tough loss.
that was a tough loss.
Overtime. Yeah.
Well, I've been saying
Oh
that.
my God, it was amazing.
I've been saying all week, like, what's it gonna be like when Indiana wins? When they beat the Knicks.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I just heard somebody say that during the day, someone said that Indiana was deep. So when I talked to Delaney before he went to sleep, and he probably already went to sleep, but I said, Pacers are going to win this game. And so at the end of it, I was like, man, Delaney's going to say, like, aha, you didn't get it. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear you.
We hear you.
I don't know if Roger
like, aha, you didn't win the bet, or whatever. You said that this was going to happen, and it didn't happen. And then
When do I ever
checked
say
the TV, and I was like, what the fuck? It was like, I guess the guy hit like 6 threes in a row.
It's insane.
Nesmith.
So everybody was like, why didn't you guard him better? It's like if a guy is, and then that guy Brunson was like, yeah, if a guy hits 1 3, you got to block him better, let alone 2, 3, 4. So he was admitting. I think they're just tired.
They just got.
Is it?
They just got. Yeah, it just happened. Nobody hits threes like that. He was hitting them from all over the place.
Yeah, I mean,
former Celtic. We got rid of him.
Those guys were fresher, and and then so I'm sure now it's going to be a little more equal.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll probably go 7 games, but that was a good game though.
The Celtics had Nesmith,
Yeah,
and he was a bench rider.
Tomorrow.
Say again, Ratio?
I think New York's going to win tomorrow, but they're not going to win the series, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Because if they're already tired, the next games are just like one night off, one night on, one night off, one night on kind of.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So I don't know. It's only going to get worse for them if they don't sprinkle some Miracle Grow on their testicles. Just how I describe it when people man up and play
Miracle Grow.
Football, baseball players man up and start playing well. I'm always like, oh, someone sprinkled Miracle Grow on their testicles.
That would just like automatically give you cancer. I think you would probably get cancer right away.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that too. There's that. It's the worst. Like there are commercials about how you should sue that company. But anyway, yeah. So I say Miracle Grow, and I use Miracle Grow. I have to admit, I use Miracle Grow because the neighbor passed away, and he left it to me, to my mother. So I use.
You don't want to waste that Miracle Grow.
Miracle Grow, and it really works. My plants are really doing well.
Actually, Miracle Grow is pretty good. It's the stuff that
it's fertilizer.
It's pesticide. Yes, fertilizer. Pesticide is the stuff that's bad.
Yeah, so someone's like in a slump. I'm like, this fucking guy needs some Miracle Grow. I'm like, come on, man, get it together. I really am. Like in my mind, this is how I think, and I relate to Dorf usually. That someone needs to sprinkle Miracle Grow. It's bear season. I use it a lot. It's a perennial. And then people pause to think about the cancer situation. Like, well, you know what? Football players get concussions and die. These guys have to put fucking cancer on their big, gigantic testicles. That's part of the fucking game. Don't tell me it ain't part of American sports, Delaney.
So big. Yeah, Delaney's laughing.
I'm he knows I'm anti-lawn. I'm against grass lawns.
And Delaney's anti-lawn, he says.
Yeah. No, I think people should xeriscape their lawns. Is all.
Delaney's anti-lawn.
They should go natural.
Lawn?
Yeah, no grass, no lawn.
Yeah, green type.
I'm a guy.
It's a monospecies.
But it's really pretty to look at. I think it should just be reserved for certain places.
for like
Yeah, that's fine for the State House.
the White House.
Like, I'm here in the desert, so they're like, if you get rid of your grass, we'll give you a couple $1,000 so you can put fake grass. So it's like fake grass all over here.
Yeah,
So
I don't mind. I don't mind the fake grass. It's really should not have lawns. Yeah, you should.
It tricks your mind very easy that it's what it is. It's fine. It's normal.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
it's the desert, man. There really shouldn't be any lawns out there. This is so ridiculous.
There shouldn't be any people out there.
It really is. But
no.
you know, it's like and now in the summer because it's so hot. Now you could water 4 times a week out here.
That's more. I mean, you know, you're not supposed to water at all
That's
in LA.
too much.
We're still
That's
under
too
the.
much. You shouldn't
still under the
be
emergency.
wandering
Yeah.
Really?
in the desert.
Well, we get plants.
You still can't. You still not supposed to do it in LA.
It is nice to have plants,
Well,
and
you're
plants
supposed to kill all the
are
fruit.
part of the desert.
Like, what if
I am
people
for
have
that.
vegetables?
Oh, I think people some people get obsessions, but no, no, you're supposed to let your fruit trees die.
Get out of here. That's a real
Raj,
backwards
did you get a
way
crop?
of, like, you know, being eco-conscious. So, like, just, well, tear them all down. Cut them.
I'm sure in LA there's like, it's a city. What do you you want to feed all the rats?
Yeah. What'd you say? Feed the
Is
rats?
that the,
Yeah. So what do you want to do? Feed the rats?
is that
It's
what
a
the
city.
rats
Just
live
cut it
on?
down.
Do the rats live on the fruit that people don't use on the grass?
They will. They will eventually. Yeah. They did during the pandemic.
The rats?
They started getting my orange tree in my backyard, and they hadn't done that before.
Because
all the restaurants were
just ran out.
Yeah, the restaurants were closed.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So now
So
in
the
California,
restaurants.
you can't have a lawn, you can't have plants.
I think you can have a lawn. You can have all that stuff, but you can't. You're not supposed to be watering it.
Well, what's the point then? This is burned out field.
Yeah, yeah. You just you plant your grass and see what happens. Just watch it burn.
I'd rather buy a truckload of rocks, which is what I have.
Yep. Everybody in Rogers' neighborhood has rocks.
I just
for
have
their
hard
lawn.
rocks in the front. It's like I'm in a quarry.
Yeah, that's a Vegas thing. I mean, here it's cactus, because at least
What
the
is it?
cactus, because at least the cactus will grow.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah,
Well, there's a lot of flowers out here because a lot of them do bloom in this nonsense.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why
yeah.
we're here.
Sorry, yeah. This has turned into a conversation that befits our age.
Lawn care.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, now my other phone just died.
We should wrap it up.
Well, listen, we should wrap. We're at 2 hours now anyway. It was very nice of
Yeah.
you to do this.
Oh, no, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I want to tell the
Sorry
folks.
about that, Delaney.
I'm gonna be showing my a pilot of mine that I made. If anybody wants to join and watch me live, I'll make an announcement of it and everything. But
Well, when's that going to happen?
I don't know. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, let us know.
I will.
Tomorrow, Friday. What time?
I loved what you sent us. That that you put in the clips for context.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep making clips. You get a lot of views doing it that way. I just don't have a lot of time to edit stuff, but I should make more clips of the show. There's funny stuff that comes out of it, that people don't have time to watch the whole thing.
It's small nugget. It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I love you. Talk to you next week.
Be good. Talk to you next week.
You too.
Take care of your mental health, like Drew Carey.
Mm-hmm. And spay and neuter your pet. All right. Thanks, Jerry.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right.
Like I said, so sometime maybe tomorrow, maybe sometime in the weekend, I really do want to show people this. I have a couple of pilots that I could show people. If you want to join me, watch my pilots, tell people. I will be making an announcement on all the channels you're watching on Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, we can check it out. Thanks for joining me once again. I will see you all next week or tomorrow maybe. Bye. Hey, do I got music in here? I do.